Hello, I'm Deathline, and this is a showcase of the 80% run for PokéPark Pikachu's Adventure. Starting out, we have 4 files. We're actually going to pick this top left file for a reason I will show out later. Here we need to select a picture from 8. It does not matter which one we pick. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. Before we can start the run, go to Options, Text Speed, set the text to Fast. This will hopefully speed up the game a lot, and set the rumble setting to Off, just for a personal preference. From there, time starts on File Select. So, 3, 2, 1, go. And with that, we have about a minute long cutscene of Pikachu and his friends Charmander and Chikorita while playing. Having a good time as friends do. As we see, Mew came along, and then a hole in the ground opened up, and we accidentally got knocked into it. So our friends decided to jump in after Pikachu, but we suddenly shift over to Pikachu and see him falling into the PokéPark. So this dreamlike sequence is Mew telling us the story of the game. The Sky Prism, which is held in the Sky Pavilion, has lost its power and shattered into 14 different pieces. We need to bring them back together and bring the PokéPark together once more, so the Sky Pavilion does not crash down into the PokéPark. Starting out here, Pikachu wakes up in this forest-like area, greeted by Chatot, who is the PokéPark guide. He does not know where our friends are either, so we're kind of in the dark, but tells us to follow him and he'll get us to the PokéPark. So the game tells us to move with the D-pad. We're actually going to be mashing the 1 button for most of our movement. The game calls this dash. I commonly refer to this as quick attack. It's interchangeable. We do use the D-pad for more minuscule, precise movement though. So they want us to break into the crate, which has a green berry. Berries are the currency of this game. I'll get a little bit more in depth on that in a minute here. Chatot also wants us to jump over this log. You can do a tall jump or a short jump. I tend to refer to them as soft hopping or tall hopping. Here, Chatot's explaining skill games. Skill games are pretty much the little mini games you play with Pokemon to friend them. This is the most common one in the game, Chase, which is basically tag. You just need to tag the Pokemon in order to win. Chatot opted to go to the right here, which is a little bit slower than going to the left by about 0.7 or so on average. Most of the time when you win a skill game, there are a few exceptions. The Pokemon will become your friend, and then you will always get berries. So here comes Baneri. Baneri will just talk to us and say hello, and wishes to see us in the PokéPark. So onwards we go, around the tree. Here we see Baneri with the text bubble. This text bubble indicates which Pokemon you need to talk to in order to progress the story. We can't move around Snorlax, so we need to wake him up with Thunderbolt. So we're going to take a step up here and use Thunderbolt. We don't need to hit Snorlax entirely, just the little bit of the shockwave just needs to touch just the tiny fingertip of Snorlax in order to work. and then Snorlax will get up and move so we can progress on our way. Shadow gives us the PokéPark pad. This is pretty much like your journal. This is where you can view stats, story, and other miscellaneous info. So we open this once right here, and then we'll open once more later in the game. Now we can finally move on. There is this little cutscene here to tell us that we can read signboards, which will give us helpful tips on our journey. From here we can move on to the PokéPark. So, welcome to the Meadow Zone. This is your grasslands area of any role-playing game. Coming up, we meet Chikorita and Baneri. Baneri tells us to try and play the attraction, as that's the main selling point of the PokéPark. There is a lot of text mashing in this game. So normally they charge berries to play attractions, but Bulbasaur's not going to charge us for the first few times. This is Bulbasaur's Daring Dash. You just gotta shake the Wiimote really hard in order to pick up speed. So as you saw, there is a bonus time and a goal time. Whenever you first play an attraction, the goal time or goal score is what you need to beat in order to win the Prism Piece. And the bonus time or score is whatever you need to beat in order to win an extra amount of berries. We need to make all of the bonuses in order for this route to work. So, as Bulbasaur was saying, there were some rules and we're not supposed to be playing the attractions. So, Trico and Mankey are going to take us away to Venusaur. And by us, they are taking Chikorita. So, Baneri and Bulbasaur asked us to go save Chikorita. What I did right there was called a soft hop. Just by very lightly tapping 2, you can get something like that. Full hops, Pikachu will do a little bit of a somersault in the air before landing. So Trico won't let us cross until Turtwig gets the bonus time in Bulbasaur's Daring Dash. So we need to go for Turtwig. Right before we do that, we're going to go over off to the right side and talk to Munchlax over here. This is the introduction of fetch quests. There are a number of these in the game. This is really probably the simplest one, where the item is right in front of the Pokemon. We need to break open the crate and just give them the big berry. So right there, Munchlax will tell you that there are many different kinds of berries. There are green berries, red berries, and golden berries. Green berries are worth 10, red berries are worth 50, and golden berries are worth 100. The route I use needs 70 berries from crates and other miscellaneous items along the way. So we just need to play chase with Turtwig. And that is it. So upon friending certain Pokemon, other Pokemon may join the park. So as you saw, friending Munchlax will unlock Tropius, and friending Turtwig here will unlock Bonsly and Pachirisu. And this goes a lot into the route, depending on which Pokemon we get and which we don't. Just seeing what friends they unlock and which they don't. So I'm actually, oh, nice. Right now I'm looking for Baneri, which I'm talking to right now, and Pachirisu before I play Bulbasaur's Daring Dash again with Turtwig. So Baneri's gonna go way out over there. But we could still catch up to her. So, by friending Baneri, both Lotad and Shinx will come play at the PokéPark, both of which we friend. So this is part of why we friend Baneri, and how it just goes to show this route is very optimized as it is. So now I'm going to talk to this Pachirisu right here, who is also a chase. Pachirisu is pretty fast, but we can still catch up with ease, as such. So now we can go talk to Bulbasaur. And right now Bulbasaur is going to explain the bonus goal, or the bonus target, which I already explained. So now I need to select Turtwig and play this attraction with him. This is the only time we play an attraction more than once in the game. So I need to be careful here and menu out, since this is not the first time I'm playing. When the first time you beat an attraction, it'll automatically kick you out, but after that, when you beat it, you have to menu out if you want to quit. Otherwise, you'll just retry. So Treecko will go let us use the bridge now, so we need to move on. I'm actually going to take a little detour here and friend this Lotad, since he's in a good spot. Lotad is a battle or fight. This is a different type of skill game where it's kind of like the Mainstay series. You just gotta lower your opponent's HP before yours. Type effectiveness is a little weird in this game. I'll explain that later when that comes up. So here, there are stage hazards in this game. Anywhere where there's a body of water, you can actually knock Pokemon into. And even during fights. And if you knock a Pokemon into water during a fight, it'll automatically end in your win. So by doing that, that's considered a quick kill on Lotad, and that saves about 8 seconds or so. So there we're going to hit this tree, a berry will come down, and so will Caterpie. So we're going to get both of these here. So Caterpie is potentially the fastest chase in the game if he walks into you, which he seems to be doing. You can do that in one frame if you get a good button mashing rhythm. I did that in about 0.1. It was a little slow, but not much you can do to speed that up. Upon friending Caterpie, though, you'll unlock Butterfree, which is a Pokemon we actually don't see in any percent. But we get Caterpie just because it's really fast and easy. So here Mankey is blocking the way, and this is another fight. This would be your tutorial fight if you didn't already fight Lotad. I'm going to opt to try and go for a quick kill here. And oh no, that was very unlucky. Man, this is not going out how I wanted it. That was a little unfortunate. So, how fights work is the camera is based around the opposing Pokemon. And what I did there was I lured Mankey into running into a certain direction closest to the river. And I went around him. However, when I went to dash, Pikachu decided to dash in the completely wrong direction. Because I accidentally double tapped left while attempting to dash. And from there, it was just a massacre. I accidentally used Thunderbolt probably a few frames too fast, which hit the invincibility frames on Mankey. So, that was a little bit unfortunate. That quick kill saves 2 seconds if done right. But no matter. Go down here and talk to Krogunk. He'll open the gate for 200 berries, but he'll give us 170 back when he hears our noble motives. And then he'll tell us the little tip of sidestepping. If you double tap left or right in a battle, you will do a little bit of a sidestep. You saw that in the Lotad and Mankey fight. I abuse that a lot. I can talk a little bit more when I have a Pokemon to show that on in a combo. So we come up to Venusaur, and Venusaur will only give us Chikorita back if we beat Krogunk and Spearow in a skill game, as they are the caretakers of the PokéPark, or at least the Meta Zone. I should mention version differences. Currently, PokéPark Wii Pikachu's Adventure is released on 2 versions, or 2 consoles. It was originally released on Nintendo Wii, go figure, on a hard disk, and it was also re-released in the Nintendo Wii U VC. The Wii U VC version is ever so slightly faster because the yes-no menuing is lagless, whereas on the Wii disc it is not. This does not save a whole lot of time at all, unfortunately. So there, I just very quickly beat Krogunk. As you saw, I ran into him with Quick Attack, and I got up really close to his face. And as they started their move, I just sidestepped out of the way and hit them when their invincibility frames were over. So that's a strat I abuse a lot in the run. So now I'm going to go and friend Spearow, and if on the way I get good RNG, which I did not, I was going to friend Trico. I will be getting Trico after I get Spearow then. So I don't actually have to run a Spearow, I can just run into the little obstacle course, and that'll trigger the loading zone. So this is another skill game, this is Obstacle Hop. You just gotta reach the other Pokemon in the time limit. So this is just 3 quick and easy jumps. As such. So now we can go back to Venusaur, because we beat Spearow and Krogunk. However, I'm going to be friending Trico, like I mentioned, before I do so. Trico is one of the fastest chases, not the fastest, he's the fastest runner in the game. One of the fastest at your current stage of speed. This chase can be very painful sometimes, taking up to 12 seconds if not going right as such. But now that we're done with that, we can move on back to Venusaur. So here we have a lot of text mashing through story-related plot. Basically, Venusaur just tells us we shouldn't be playing, and Trigger says, heck no, we're going to play if we want to. So we're going to challenge Venusaur's attraction, and he'll change the rules if we win. This is Venusaur's Vine Swing for 5 berries. We're going to be playing this with Krogunk, as Krogunk is probably not Mankey. Krogunk is probably the easiest to consistently use. You could use Pikachu or Mankey. It is just a lot easier to use Krogunk consistently. So for this, I only need to go over the bonus. So as long as I get 219.76 feet or above, I'll get the bonus. So optimally, I want to get as close as to that number without going below it. 242 is alright. Ideally, you want a 220 number, but not always the easiest thing to do. So we also get our next prison piece. And Venusaur will spend about a minute just talking and talking and talking. Now we just gotta mash through. Explaining the story. So no, we are not going to save. And we're going to go ahead and go out towards the meeting place. Before we go there, we're going to friend 2 Pokemon, Aipom and Ambipom. The first of which, Aipom, we need to find. There's one always roaming around, there's always one static near a white tree. Both of them play chase, and defeating them will unlock Ambipom. So I got this one to be closer. Who unfortunately decided to run out there. This can be very annoying when this happens. Oh, depending on which way Aipom wants to run, this wouldn't have been too bad. That was very painful. Aipom runs pretty fast as well, almost as fast as Trico. So, and Pikachu does not corner very well when dashing. So you want to try and preemptively head them off, but sometimes they just take very weird angles. So now we need to find Ambipom, who is right over here. Ambipom has 3 HP bars in their fight, so I can try and show off a combo here. Ideally, you want to talk to Ambipom when she's near the river, so you can knock her into the river, but when she's out here, you want to do a Thunderbolt into a quick attack, as this does 1.5 damage. If you do just... I sidestepped a little early there. If you just a quick attack, it'll instantly activate invincibility frames for them and only do 1 HP. So you want to do Thunderbolt into quick attack, as you can get the most amount of damage that way. So Starly will tell you about the first person, which just completely means nothing to us, so we're going to ignore that and move on. So this is the meeting place. This is the central hub of PokéPark. Chatbot tells us to talk to the vendors, Drifbloom, Mr. Vis, and Electabuzz. We find Chikorita here, who says she will try and finish this tree, make the tree into a treehouse. From there, we're going to go and talk to Drifbloom. This is the owner of the Drifbloom stop. This is your fast travel in this game, where you can get to other zones in exchange for berries. Next up, we have Mr. Vis, owner of the photo studio. You can take screenshots and save them to your Wii hard drive or to an SD card. It's actually a pretty cool mechanic that nobody really used too much. You are required to actually take a photo and save it before progressing the game. So we're just going to mash minus here and then save this. And then just talk to Mr. Vis in order to progress the game. Lastly, talk to Electabuzz. Electabuzz and other Pokemon will help upgrade your stats. Electabuzz upgrades your Thunderbolt for berries. We're not going to opt for this right now, or ever. The only stat that we upgrade is Dash, which comes later in the run. As you can see, I'm always jumping after talking to a Pokemon. There's a few frames where you can jump or dash. Otherwise, the text box option to talk to them will come back up. And I take those few frames just to jump out of the way or dash away so I don't accidentally re-talk to the Pokemon. So welcome to the beach zone. This is your classic ocean land of your RPG. Going forward, we meet up with Azrael and Slowpoke, who are having a conversation about Gyarados and Feraligatr, when suddenly shaking. So that's an indication that PokéPark is, or the Sky Pavilion is starting to fail. And we need to hurry up and get all the present pieces. So we need to meet up with Empoleon, the leader of the iceberg and beach zones. However, we need to go talk to Lapras, who's across the cape. On the way there, we are going to friend Slowpoke here, who is a chase. Which is also a pretty fast chase. This will unlock Mudkip, whom we do not friend. However, Mudkip plays a skill game that we actually never see in any percent, which is hide and seek. The Pokemon will hide, you have to go find them and talk to them before the time runs out. This is another skill game that we also play a few times, a quiz. There are 3 questions that you need to answer. The answers are always the same, however the position that the answer is in will differ from time to time. So ideally you just want all the answers to be in the top slot so you don't have to menu down and lose frames, but that's not always the case. Most of the time, it never is the case. The Pokemon that offer quiz as a skill game, they have around 10 to 12 questions, depending on which one you're talking to. So it's imperative to try and memorize all the questions and answers. It's always better to take a few seconds just to think about an answer before just mashing through. Because if you fail any question, you have to start all the way over again from the beginning. which loses a lot of time. So if Ralligator says he'll break the rock blocking our path to Lapras if we go teach Gyarados a lesson. So we're going to go back, and on the way back we meet up with Piplup, who's on an island, why not, who's stuck on the island now, unfortunately. So Piplup tells us to go talk to Bidoof in the Meadow Zone, so we can see if we can get her Bidoof's help to build some bridges. So on our way back, we're going to hopefully be looking for Azurill, nice, which is over there, and Starly. Azurill can be very painful. Pokemon spawn dynamically in PokéPark Wii, where they can spawn pretty much anywhere within a set definition, anytime you reload the zone. I went under. So that's a really annoying thing about this chase, is that Azurill can just be on a bad interval, and you lose a lot of time for it. Like that. Normally that chase only takes 5 seconds, but that took me 13, so really unfortunate. But Azurill can spawn pretty much almost anywhere in this open area here on this side of the bridge, and she's a really small Pokemon, so that can be really painful when your distance isn't great. She unlocks Totodile, whom we also friend. I'm going to talk to him now. A lot of the run is gauging whether or not you want to take the RNG that you're given now, or hope for better ones later. So right now this Totodile RNG isn't the greatest. I could wait for potentially good RNG where he's near the beach, near the shoreline, where I can knock him into the water and save myself a few seconds. However, he also spawns in a very wide open range, so sometimes it's better just to take the RNG I'm given now instead of hoping for potentially better RNG and then getting worse RNG. So now we need to Drifblim stop back to the Meadow Zone. And then we are required to watch this cutscene at least one time before we're allowed to skip through it. So over in this corner that we did not explore too much is Bidoof. Before we talk to Bidoof, we're going to break open this crate and take these pile of sticks, which is actually known as lumber, to Bidoof. This is one of the main fetch quests in the game that I was talking about earlier, where Bidoof will want 4 pieces of lumber to build her house for her friends and family. So by preemptively getting this piece, we don't have to talk to her and then go re-grab one. So I'm going to break open this block here and then go talk to this Chimchar. Chimchar is one of the Pokemon we need to friend. So, and he can spawn pretty much anywhere too. So once I see good RNG, sometimes I'll break open that box. Ooh, this is a really good RNG actually. That's very rare. And then I'll just go talk to Chimchar instead of getting that lumber right there second. Because from here I can just get a different piece of lumber before the one I broke open. So what I mean by good RNG there with Chimchar is he decided to run in a pattern. Whenever you start a fight or chase, Pokemon will try to run away a set distance from you. However, sometimes that doesn't work all that well because of how the map is set up and how the AI works. It's not a set distance from you, just a set amount. So Chimchar ran the set amount away, but that ended up being right in front of me, which allows for that battle to go a little bit quicker. And there is just a really simple chase with Shinx. So we're gonna break open this crate and get this piece of lumber first, before getting the other one. When you're holding an item and walking, this is as fast as you can move. You have to walk with the D-pad. This is where a lot of segments, like when you're doing fetch quests, have a lot of downtime. Where you can talk about anything, really. Anna's. And a good place for donation incentives as well. So just get the next piece of lumber. Get the Bidoof. So the final piece of lumber is over here. I guess I didn't mention this, but when I run into these boxes, I do a jump right towards the item. This saves about a second over walking. And the reason I do this, the other reason I do this as well, actually, is because Pikachu has a very limited grab range when trying to pick up an item. You basically have to be right on top of it and facing towards it in order for Pikachu to pick it up. Even if you're a little bit too far away or a little bit offset in your angle, he will refuse to pick it up, and he'll just jump in place, which can be very annoying. So you want to hit the box head on, and then just jump straight towards the item, and that will always get you a perfect setup every time. So upon finishing this, we get 100 berries and B-Barrel, which is this Bidoof's grandmother, will join the PokéPark. So we're going to talk to Bidoof, and she'll send one of her helpers over to the beach zone as we need. So we can go back now. Before we do so, we are actually going to friend this B-Barrel for an upcoming attraction. So B-Barrel will use Rollout, so I can just get up pretty close and then just use Thunderbolt. I could opt to use Quick Attack either as well, it doesn't matter. Thunderbolt's just a little bit faster in frames when you space it out properly. So now I can go ahead and head back towards the beach zone. I'm going to mash plus to skip those cutscenes from now on every time I use a Drift Thumb Stop. So there was Totodile again, as I was mentioning, good RNG, bad RNG. I'm going to try and talk to the Starly before it takes off, hopefully. Nice. This is the last of the Pokemon I need to friend in the beach zone. Starly is really annoying because they too can spawn pretty much anywhere, and since they're a flying Pokemon, they will fly away. And that can lead to some really annoying things. This is one of the few flying Pokemon that we can actually friend this way. Starly will play a chase, and it's probably pretty much the only flying Pokemon that plays chase that you can actually hit out of the air with a jump. So that's why we friend Starly. So here we're going to get a piece of lumber from that box and then talk to Bidoof here. But before Bidoof builds the bridge, Sharpedo and Carvana will prevent us from building the bridge under Gyarados' orders. Which is odd, seeing how Empoleon is the zone leader for the beach zone. But they completely refuse and say we can still fly there, even if we can't swim. So they'll let us build a bridge if we somehow manage to defeat Pelipper's attraction. So now we need to go out to that corner of the beach zone in order to play it. So as you see, good Totodile RNG right there. I probably could have played a battle with him and knocked him into the ocean, but it's one of those things where you never know what kind of RNG you'll get, so that I possibly could have not have gotten that RNG either prior to friending. So this is Pelipper's Circle Circuit, one of your flying attractions. We're going to play this with Starly, as it saves just like a couple frames over picking Spearow. So, yellow rings are worth 100, gold rings are worth 100, yellow and gold, oh my gosh. Those rings are worth 100, red rings are worth 300, and the rainbow rings are worth 1,000. So we just need to get an easy 8,800 points, which I've completely gone over now, and to get our bonus and the goal. So Pelipper will also give us a prison piece. So now we can go back and talk to Bidoof, Sharpedo, and Carvana. So out of that little pile of sticks called lumber, Bidoof will somehow manage to build a magnificent bridge. I won't question it, but that's using your resources to the max. So 2 more bundles of lumber and Bidoof will help us get to the island with an attraction. So here's just a lot of talking and reminding us of what to do. So now we can move on and talk to Gyarados, as Feraligatr wanted us to do so. So you need a certain amount of friends to complete this game, and there are checkpoints in the game. This is one of them. You are required to have 25 or more friends before Gyarados will let you play his attraction of Aqua Dash. So we're going to use Bibarel, as we friended earlier, for this attraction, as Bibarel is the fastest available Pokemon to us. So now we can finally go tell Feraligatr that we've calmed Gyarados down, and hopefully he'll break the block as promised. So we can use this conveniently built bridge to access Feraligatr a lot quicker. But before we go on and talk to Lapras, we're actually going to friend Feraligatr as well. Since Feraligatr has 4 HP bars, I'm going to do 2 combos and then a Thunderbolt. As I mentioned earlier, type effectiveness isn't really apparent in PokéPark Wii. Sure, you can't use Thunderbolt on ground types, since Electric does not affect ground. However, things such as that, where I'm using an Electric move on a Water type, it deals the same amount of damage. There are also instances where Thunderbolt will be completely ineffective on a Pokemon where it normally would be, such as Breloom. Breloom is a grass fighting type, but you cannot use Thunderbolt on Breloom. It just does not affect it. Later, we're actually going to be friending a Cranidos, which is pure rock type, so Electric does half damage, but it does completely normal in this game. So it's a little bit weird. So here we're going to ride on Lapras's back to access the Iceberg Zone. So welcome to the Iceberg Zone, your standard ice-snow area of your RPG. So we just need to go find Empoleon now. So we're gonna spend about a minute running up to the slope. Up this slope towards Empoleon. Not quite a minute, but quite some time. Around 30 seconds or so. In order to meet Piloswine, who will tell us that the gate is frozen shut. Mamoswine could potentially break it open, however, Mamoswine is frozen solid across a lake, So we need to go rescue Mamoswine. First things first, we need to go and assess the situation. So come down here to see what kind of things we need to get in order to free Mamoswine. So Teddy Ursa tells us that we could get across the lake when it's frozen, and in order to freeze it, we need to get Frostlass. However, in order to get Frostlass, we need to help Glalie out. Glalie wants these 3 ice blocks in order to build some igloos to impress Frostlass. So we're going to get this farthest one away first. The reason is Glalie here has a pretty big loading zone around him. Getting this last one here first saves 2 seconds in walking compared to the other 2. As it just teleports you right in front of Glalie. So, getting the first igloo built will unlock Primeape. As you can see, Pikachu needs to be right in front of the item in order to pick it up. Can't be any other way. And getting the second igloo built will unlock Ursaring. So now we just need one last ice block, which is right here. I did this little weird thing right there, I don't know if you could see it, where Pikachu kind of zipped a little bit faster in a direction after landing. This is the only form of glitch or exploit in this game, known as momentum swap. When you start going a perpendicular angle to the one you were jumping and running in, you'll get a little bit of a speed boost when landing. So, not very useful, but it is some tech that is used in very niche situations. So, Glalie tells us he's on, Frostlass is on the other side of the area, so we're gonna go ahead and go over there, pick up a berry on our way. However, before we can get down to Frostlass, Prinplup will prevent us from using the chairlift, which we will have to defeat him in a battle for. So I'm gonna jump and use Thunderbolt, as you can buffer Thunderbolt out of midair as well. As long as you're holding the A button, Thunderbolt will not activate until you release it. So in order to activate the chairlift, we need to dash into the switch right over here. And here is Frostlass. So Frostlass is just a simple fight. Hopefully this Quagsire does not get in the way. Quagsire is part ground type, so Thunderbolt does not affect him at all. That is annoying mechanic of this game, where other Pokemon can totally interact with you in your fight. So if you happen to run into a Pokemon, sometimes they'll get angry and just try to attack you in the middle of your fight, and you will take damage for it. So before we go back, we need to friend Quagsire and Octillery from down here. So to friend Quagsire, we need to give one of them a big berry. Hopefully one of them will stay still for a moment. Stay still for a moment. Goodness gracious, thank you. And then talk to this auxiliary here. And we will fight for friendship. So now we can move on. We want to be careful here, dashing out. There is a really big loading zone around that tree right there that'll activate a cutscene that loses about 15 seconds. So before I need to friend Teddy Ursa, Glalie, and Ursaring. I'm gonna go ahead and friend Ursaring first here, as he is a fight. There are 3 Teddy Ursa in this zone, one that's always static next to the fence, and there are 2 roaming. One of the roaming ones and the static one will give you a quiz, and the remaining roaming one will try and play chase with you, and I want to play chase. However, there's no way to tell which one it is until I talk to it. So hopefully I talked to the right one, which I did not. Talking to the bad one only loses about 3 to 4 seconds, and then the time it takes to go talk to the other one. So this is the one I want to talk to, Chase, as this is a lot faster than taking a quiz. And now we can go talk to Frostlass. If Auxiliary would get out of the way. So now we could go and save Mammoth, but before we do, we're actually going to friend Glalie, as he's very useful for the upcoming attraction. And you have to talk to Glalie after you see the freezing the lake cutscene there. So, standard combo. Depending on a Pokemon's size and weight, Pikachu will either do 3 different knockback animations. If they're really small, Pikachu will just run right through them, no problem. If they're of standard size, Pikachu will bounce off of them. And if they're way too big and too heavy, Pikachu will become dizzy upon hitting them. So part of that is incorporated into the fight strategies. So just hit the block 3 times though, and we can save Mammoth. So Mammoth breaks open the gate here and then gives us some meaningful text on why. We ask him why he's not angry at Empoleon, and he responds to us as if life was just so simple in black and white. They just happen to believe in different things. That's the way the world works. which I believe is a very good value to teach children, as this is a children's game. So this is an only on snow slide, which we are going to play with Glalie, as Glalie is the fastest option for this attraction. So, much like Aqua Dash, but just on snow, and a little bit in a quite a bit longer course, about double the length. But ideally, you want to hit all of these speed ups, but drifting in this attraction can be a little bit difficult sometimes. But no problem. And just like that, we have gotten ourselves our next prison piece in front of Napoleon. So next we need to go find Blaziken. However, we need to return to the meeting place before we do. So, it is now time to leave the iceberg zone. But before we leave, we're actually going to friend Piloswine here. Piloswine is part ground type, so you can't use Thunderbolt. However, there's a different strategy I'm going to abuse here. Piloswine will also use Takedown, so you can't really just like attack. You gotta kind of wait it out. However, you can kind of lure him to this gate here, which is out of bounds. When you go out of bounds in a fight like this, the AI doesn't know what to do since they can't access that area normally. So they kind of just freak out and won't attack you immediately. But I can just come right back to inbounds and quickly finish the fight. So we can see the progress of the treehouse for Chikorita. Piplup has carried back the balloon, as he mentioned. And you can see there are more Pokemon over here by Electabuzz now. Electabuzz raises your Thunderbolt, as mentioned. Ponyta will help you. Sorry about that. Ponyta will help you raise your dash speed. Bibro will raise your HP, and Primate will teach you Iron Tail. So we're going to upgrade our dash 2 times. For a total of 1,350 berries. So talk to Greendos and he'll open the gate so we can move on towards the place again. So the game's going to go a lot faster now that we've upgraded our dash twice. And with that, we're going to move on to the cavern zone. Unfortunately, I accidentally pressed 2 there instead of 1. Mr. Mime is in a lot of trouble since the rail is missing, and we need to go find it for him. He tells us to talk to Zubat, however, that is completely unnecessary. You do not need to talk to any Zubat at all. Come down this path and you'll meet up with Mawile, who will talk about some things, and talk about how sad the state of the cavern zone is currently, which is not really our problem at the moment. Moving onwards, we talk to Aeron, who wants a piece of iron ore to eat. We're just going to smash this crate that was right next to him and give this piece of metal to Aeron, who was actually right behind me, which is the best RNG, however I just did not see him. So he tells us that Mawile actually was the one to chew off a piece of the rail, so we need to go talk to Mawile, who is unfortunately all the way over here. Mawile is a very painful chase, as she can spawn anywhere in this curve, which is really bad. And her jaws act as a separate hitbox on her head. So there's the body hitbox and the jaws hitbox. If you hit the jaws, it'll knock you back. And you want to hit the body, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Pikachu likes to auto-target a hitbox when you get close, as a mechanic to help the players beat the game. This sometimes pulls you into the jaws hitbox. So she tells us that Dugtrio is the one who hid the rail, and she did that in an attempt to keep more Pokemon from leaving the cavern zone. Trio. So we need to go talk to Marowak, who's in the berry storage, but on our way there, we're gonna open up this crate to find a Magnemite, and then friend Magnemite and Cranidos as well. I'm gonna friend Magnemite first, as all you need to do is just talk to Magnemite. And then battle Cranidos. Cranidos is a full-on rock type, but we can just do our standard combo, no problem. Move around Scizor there, and then go ahead and talk to Marowak over here, who will only let us into the berry storage after we defeat him in a battle. So Marowak is ground type, so you can use Thunderbolt, and there's no real easy combo to do. He went the good way, so I can actually bait him out here to use Double Edge, or Takedown, or whatever move he uses, and he'll run into the box, and this will stop his attack animation. If you're too far away, he'll use Bone Ring, which you just have to jump over. So now we can look for the rail. If we break open this box, we're going to find a Diglett inside of it, who will tell us that he moved the rail under the sleeping Snorlax. So we're going to jump over this Diglett, break open this box to get a berry, and then break open this box to get a big berry. We need this for Snorlax coming up. So talk to Snorlax. He'll get up and don't hit him with the Thunderbolt, which is a complete lie. So we need to throw down the berry, hit him with the Thunderbolt. He'll move, but only after we give him a big berry. So we need to pick up the big berry now, and then give that to Snorlax. So, as you've probably seen in some of the text, the hot springs were dried up, which was one of the main attractions of the cavern zone. But now it's come back, and along with it, the rail that we've been looking for. So, that also unlocks Phanpy and Raichu. So now we need to take this rail all the way back to Mr. Mime. This is probably the second longest fetch quest in the game, in terms of just walking time. On the way though, we're going to check this Drifloon stop to activate this Drifloon to come down, without having to drop the rail. From here though, we're going to walk all the way back to Mr. Mime. So, finally reaching Mr. Mime, he'll put back the rail, and then we just need to go get the minecart back, which is conveniently right here with this Gibble. However, he won't give it back for free, so we need to defeat him in a battle. Can't use Thunderbolt since Gibble is a Dragon Ground type, so just 3 quick attacks will do the trick. We just gotta wait out the invincibility frames. I dashed a little too fast there, and I hit the invincibility frames and got hit by the Dragon Breath, which is a little unfortunate. So now we could move on to the next zone if we wanted to, but there's some things we need to finish up in the cavern zone first. We need to find 4 Pokemon and friend them, and then defeat the attraction here as well. So, one of which is actually right here, conveniently, Raichu. Raichu is a chase. Who's actually pretty freaking quick, but not as quick as we are. we need to friend Torchic, who's conveniently right here as well. Which is a battle. Torchic can be really annoying since Torchic is a really small model, and the draw distance for them, that was a really odd movement, can be really hard to see if they're at the other end of the zone. Next up, we're going to talk to Drifblim and not fly anywhere. Since we've been using Drifblim to travel so much, she gives us a discount and becomes our friend. So now we get that discount. We're actually going to just quit out of this. This is one of the coolest ideas in the route, in my opinion, that we friend the travel Pokemon without actually having to travel. And then lastly, we just talk to Diglett, who will become our friend for free. So now we can take on the attraction in the zone. This is another checkpoint where you need a certain amount of friends. You need 50. And as it turns out, we have exactly 50 friends right now. So this is Bastiodon's Block Barrage. Going to be playing this with Pikachu. We need 4,000 points. It's pretty much kind of like Pong a little bit, or more like Racquetball. We need to hit the panels in the back. A standard hit will do 100 times the number, and a power hit will do 200 times the number. And you want to, and each time you hit the number, it goes up by 1. So you want to chain the hits to the same panel every single time, if possible. However, the ball doesn't necessarily go in the direction you would think it would every single time. So it can be difficult. However, just like that, I'm already done, so I just need to get rid of these other 2 lives that I have. I could hit a Dugtrio if I'm lucky here, or hit Bastiodon and it'll bounce off. Power Shots will go through Bastiodon and the Dugtrios. So we get our next prison piece just like that. So now we can move on towards the lava zone to meet up Blaziken. Right before leaving the zone, we're going to talk to Dugtrio and friend them as well. So now, moving onwards to the lava zone. Which is improperly named, by the way. It should be Magma Zone, since you're inside of a mountain, in theory. But that's just terminology speaking. So Hitmontop tells us this is a place full of mighty ones. The object behind him is the drill, but right now it's overheated, so we need to go check on Camerup's furnace before we do anything else. There are a couple of Magby down here, however I'm not going to friend them. There are 4 Magby in this zone. There are 2 down here, and then 2 up at the top by the drill. The 2 down here by Camerupt will battle you, and the 2 up at the top by the drill will play chase. And the chase is a little bit faster. But first things first, we need to defeat Camerupt in a battle. So another reason why we use Sidestep is to buffer out the invisibility frames when we get speed upgrades, since we're just kind of waiting. So we're apparently well known as Lightning Strike. which is a little bit of a plot importance later for the game. Behind him is the furnace. We can use the furnace to change iron ore and gold nuggets into shapes, such as bars or tops or whatnot. But we need to dig those out with the drill. Before we use the drill, we need to friend one of these Magbies, who is actually kind of mad right now. That's insane RNG. Pokemon in this game can interact with one another, as you've seen. They can talk to each other. They can even play a game of chase. Sometimes they will display some emotion after talking to a different Pokemon. There's 3 types of emotion that they'll openly display. Joy, which you can see back in the background right there with full pics with the music notes. That means they're happy, and their text boxes are actually drastically shortened down to either 1 or 2, and it goes a lot faster than general. They'll be sad or crying, in which they just won't play with you, or sometimes they will. It's a little bit RNG dependent. And then they'll be angry, as you saw with that Magby, where they won't play with you at all, and sometimes they'll even try to attack you, which can be really annoying. So here's him on top. We just gotta defeat him real quick before he'll let us use the drill. This is one of the biggest RNG elements in the entire run that can completely sabotage it. I need 2 iron ores and no gold nuggets. However, if I do get a gold nugget, it's about 25 seconds lost, just due to the animation here. So I'm gonna pray that I don't get a gold nugget here. A lot. Okay, that's good. That's 1. I need 1 more, though. Nobody really knows what the actual percentage of getting a gold nugget is. In my time running this game, I've estimated it to be somewhere between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5-ish. So 20 to 25% of getting a gold nugget per use. You just really don't want those in any percent, because you just lose a lot of time by getting 1. So here's this Torkoal. He's just telling us that they've pretty much just come into the park, and there's going to be a horde of them over here. He says they're here to help train others who pass by. Basically, sometimes a bunch of them will get angry and they'll try to attack you, which can just be really unfortunate. So hopefully they won't be angry. Most of the time they aren't, and they won't attack you, in which you can just carry this iron ore all the way down to the furnace as you need to. So I'm going to take this iron ore and turn it into a straight shape. Which will turn it into an iron bar and spawn in Golem. Now there is a little bit of a... nice, I got it. So you can see Pikachu dash there. On very certain cutscenes where Pikachu will spawn in and then the game will fade back out to show like a Pokemon coming to the park, like Golem there. There's a few frames where you can get a dash input. I like to call these dash frames. This one saves 1 second. There's another one after friending Mankey all the way back in the Meadow Zone. I actually caught that then, I didn't mention it. After friending Mankey, you'll spawn back in and then fade back out to see Chimchar. If you get a dash frame there, you save another second. So it's cool, a little bit cool tech that you just gotta hope that you get. So we get the switch, get the bar, we fix the switch with it, turn it on, that'll turn off the fire spouts. From there, we need to go back up and get the next iron ore. On the way, we talk to Golem, who will just become our friend. Golem will exchange you berries if you give him things made out of iron ore or gold nuggets. So here's the last one. I really hope I don't get a gold nugget here. No gold nuggets, no gold nuggets, no gold nuggets. Nice, that's good. That's really good. So I just need to take this one down to the furnace as well. And hopefully the Torkoals won't be angry. I see a few of them are talking down there. Oh, they're angry. Hopefully I won't be in their zone to hit. I think I'm okay. So I tend to hug the wall there. As you can see, the wall is very poorly coated. It's really jagged, actually, with an invisible wall that just juts way out into the walking area. But luckily, I was not within that Torkoal's range to attack. So we're going to take this iron ore and turn it into a round shape for the upcoming attraction. This is required by story. You're actually necessary. It's necessary to make this iron top. So we're going to take this and take this to the Rhyperior over there. Since we turn off the fire spouts, we can walk right on through. Now I want you to watch very closely with Pikachu's feet and what ground he's walking on here, because it is just beautifully coated and well made. Just seamless walking. So we give this iron top to Rhyperior, which will allow us to play Rhyperior's Bumper Burn. This attraction can be a little bit scary sometimes. I'm going to play with Pikachu. I need 5,000 points. This is pretty much Beyblade, if you've ever heard of that. You just need to knock the other Pokemon out. The more Pokemon you knock out, the more of a multiplier you'll get. However, the more times you get hit by a Pokemon, the more your knockback will be. And this game is motion controls, so sometimes you just kind of fall off, which will reset your multiplier, and this can be very not good. My left is deciding not to work. This is very, very not good, because I need 5,000 points. I got a power-up there. I might have to reset this if this doesn't go well. In 10 seconds. No. Okay, I'm gonna preemptively retry this now. That's about 45 seconds lost, which is really unfortunate. My motion controls are a little iffy right now. I'm not 100% certain why. Which is kind of annoying, because I need these to be working in order to defeat this attraction. There's little power-up balls that will... That's what it should have happened the first time, so now I just gotta wait out the timer. That's really unfortunate that that happened. I don't know why the motion controls were being kind of iffy there. Now I can perfectly go left and right, but... Just one of those things about PokéPark and motion controls. So now we can move on towards Blaziken. I need to be careful here about hugging the right side of the wall, go around it, because there is a giant invisible wall that you'll get stuck on there if you're hugging the right side. Moving up this ramp though, we meet up with Charmander at last, and he'll challenge us to a battle. That was almost a frame-perfect fight, if not frame-perfect. You can hit Charmander out of his animation there, before he even uses Flamethrower, which means you went really fast. Not a problem if you didn't, though. It's just frames, but... So, running up this ramp, we'll get stopped by a Metatite, who will challenge us to a quiz. missed that. So we also need to look out for Ponyta. This is probably the second most annoying chase in the entire game, because Ponyta is a really fast runner, and the camera here is really bad. Ponyta will leave a little bit of ember trails behind her, but the camera is focused on her, so you can't change the camera, and since you're running around in a circle, nice Quilava, this can be really, really obnoxious, because you just can't change how you're running. But luckily that wasn't too bad, other than the Quilava getting in the way there. That's a little unfortunate. So we need to break open these boxes and get the last of our berries. There I was using the D-pad just for finer movement. That was a little unfortunate. Farfetch will be blocking the path, so we need to defeat him in a battle. Really simple. Just get up, do a quick attack, and then just dodge the attack, and then quick attack once more. And then we can hit switch to lower the drawbridge. Talk to Cargo and he'll open the gate for us. You are required to defeat Bastiodon's Block Barrage and Rhyperior's Bumper Burn before coming here, though. So here's Blaziken, the zone leader for the lava and cavern zones. He'll ask you if you want to join him, but we disagree. We need to defeat him. However, we need to battle Charmander once more. He'll now have 4 HP bars, so we're going to dash and then do 2 combos. Just to make it go really fast. So now we can take on Blaziken in Blaziken's Boulder Bash. So we need 6,000 points. You can either damage the rock or completely smash it. If you damage the rock, you'll only get 100 like that, but if you completely smash it, you'll get 300. Each rock you hit in consecutiveness will raise the multiplier. Probably closer to around a minute here, unfortunately. Or maybe not, maybe 50 seconds. Still, losing the attraction was a bit of a pain. But not too big of a problem. So this is the other time we're going to be using our PokéPark pad. We're actually going to be employing a save plus quit strat here, which saves 6 seconds, instead of walking all the way to the Drifloon stop. And this is the reason why we use the top left file, so we can just completely keep mashing 2 without having to menu. So back to the meeting place it is. And here's the progress of the treehouse once more. So Pip-Up here inflates the balloon. However, he will find out that there is a giant hole in the side of it. So we're going to need something to patch that up before we're flying anytime soon. So here, Chata is just restating the entire point of the game that we've been already doing for the past hour and 37 minutes. However, plot, we need to find out where the Sky Pavilion is, and in order to do so, Mischievous asks us to go talk to Miss Magius in the Haunted Zone. So before we go on to the next zone, we're going to talk to Ponyta and get a skill called Double Dash, since we befriended the other Ponyta, who is this one's sibling. This will allow us to use a secondary dash at the end of our first one, like such. This entire zone is just full of this movement, and this is one of the most tech-heavy zones in the entire run, just because of this reason. The Wiimote is not the best with calibration, and sometimes you will just drop inputs. And timing is very finicky, so right there I already dropped 1. So, coming up next is the Haunted Zone. There, I was in the habit of mashing. Run up to the gate and it'll open for us. And we're on to our next attraction, which is Taylor's Swing Along. We're going to be playing this with Raichu, as this is the fastest option that we have. So you notice it's like 28 seconds. However, I'm going to do this in under 10 because that's way too long. I honestly did not get a swing there, unfortunately. That was a little weird. It's freaking Wiimote there. So 12 seconds instead of under 10. Ideally, you want to do that in 7 seconds with the Raichu. Unfortunately, I got a dropped input, as I was mentioning. The Wiimote is not the best of controllers in the world. But you can do swing along very fast. The ILs for that attraction are insane. It can be done as fast as 4 seconds with certain Pokemon. So talk to Drifloon, and Drifloon will allow us to enter the haunted house. So, Duskull tells us we're the 999th visitor, and he will be our spectacular tour guide. So we just need to follow him around for a minute. I don't know why I didn't get a dash input. I dropped an input there. So this is where the next attraction will take place. Dropped an input there. This is the library, which is currently closed. I dropped another double dash there. Good lord, I wish I could stop dropping these. These are really hard to get sometimes. And this is where the Grand Hall is, and we can only access that once we've beaten the attraction. So, turn it around. Ghastly will tell us to come upstairs to enter a room that's never been opened before. Drop the double dash there. Drop the double dash there. Finally got one. Finally got another. So this entire zone is hopefully just not dropping double dashes, and it's just very finicky sometimes. Unfortunately. However, it is definitely faster than just mashing the dash button. So he'll open all these blue jewel doors so we can enter this room. And then we're going to actually friend Ghastly as well. Ghastly. So this strat, we just need to dash and then jump. Like such. Very quick chase. Ghastly. Ghastly. So we're talking to Gengar, who decided to jump into the painting, and then we hear the bells chime, which signifies that it is the start of the attraction. So this is Dusknoir's Speed Slam. Which we're going to be playing with Cranidos. So this is just like Bulbasaur's Daring Dash, but with hurdles that we gotta run through. The Spinneracks that come down from the ceiling are RNG. You can actually get up to 4, I believe. 2 is the lowest amount that you can get, however. Some nice Umbreon shot. So now we can enter the Grand Hall. Umbreon was unfortunately in the way there. So now we can talk to Duskull, who will open these doors for us. Drop the dash there. here we can find Pikachu playing with the ghost type Pokemon. And they'll tell us that Mr. Vis is in trouble, so we need to talk to Mr. Vis here. Tell us that they've been having parties, but they're not the same because the piano's been broken. So we need to go all the way across the entire haunted house to find Spinarak, who will give us some thread for the piano. So there I opt to jump, just so I can get around the door a little bit faster. Here I opt to jump, just so I can get around the corner there a little bit faster. And once we reach Ghastly, he will open up the green jewel doors. Which we can now enter. We're going to talk to Abra, who will become our friend for free. He tells us when we're sleepy, we should sleep. So here is Spinarak, and he will give us the thread needed. This is the longest fetch quest in the game in terms of just walking distance. Gotta walk this all the way back to Mr. Vis now, which takes about a minute and a half. So there's a lot of downtime here. Finally, we can give this to Mr. Vis. She'll fix the piano. This will make Miss Magius come out of her library and unlock the red jewel doors. We're also going to be befriending Mr. Vis here with the game of chase. Now we can go into the library. Drop there. Talk to this Duskull. And he's been looking for the missing zone leader, Rodham. And he sees a suspicious gap in the bookcase there. So we need to go find the book, which is probably conveniently across the room with this Sableye, who will challenge us to a quiz in exchange for the book. So with this, we can take this book and check the suspicious gap without talking to Duskull, so that will just create more dialogue for us. And this will open up a secret passageway. Now we need to go down the stairs. Here's Rodham, the zone leader. This is another checkpoint in the game where you need 65 friends in order to play this attraction, which is Rodham's Spooky Shoot 'em Up. We're going to be playing this with Abra, as this is the best Pokemon available right now. We need 5,000 points. Ghastlies are worth 100, Haunters are worth 300, Rodhams are worth 1,000. We can easily knock out Ghastlies in one hit, Haunters takes 2, and Rodhams take that as well. They take 2. So the way to lose is you let one of the ghost Pokemon take you. So I have 4,800. I'm going to not shoot this Ghastly since that's not enough. I'm going to shoot this Haunter though since that'll be enough. And I'll let this Ghastly reach me, which will be game over. And I will win since I went over the 5,000 threshold. Now we can move out. Upon climbing out the stairs, Duskull will tell us that Miss Magius wants to talk to us, which is all the way at the end of the zone in the Grand Hall. Miss Magius tells us about the Granite Zone and the Great Promise and how to save the park. So normally I would friend the Electrode, but unfortunately he was on the 2nd floor, so I'm going to get a backup Pokemon instead. I'm gonna run all the way out to the entrance of the zone. Good double dashes.
Let's go.
We need to talk to 3 Pokemon before leaving the haunted zone. The first of which is the doorkeeper, Drifloon. Next, we need to hit these trees on the side of the door. Hitting the tree on the right side will unlock Kakuna. And the tree on the left side of the door will unlock Metapod. Normally we would skip Metapod if we get good Electrode RNG, since Electrode has faster text boxes than Metapod. But in the event we don't get good RNG for Electrode, we use Metapod as a backup. Now we can just leave the zone as normal. This is the only zone in the game that we don't actually get the Drifloon stop for, since it's at the entrance of the zone, so it's just slower that way. So we can see the treehouse is finally completed. A grand treehouse, if I do say so myself. We got a patch for the balloon, so Philip can finally use it. Charmander says he's going to make us some fireworks. So now we can move on towards the next zone, the Granite Zone. Before we do, we're going to upgrade our dash for the final time for a whopping 1,500 berries. And then we're going to have 45 left over. This is the perfect amount I need in order to pay for the next attraction. So this is why I needed 70 extra berries from crates and trees. And now I don't have to use double dash anymore, since this dash speed is faster than waiting for double dash. So talk to Skorupi over here. And he won't let us pass. However, here's some shaking to signify that the Sky Pavilion may possibly come crashing down on us sometime soon. So, upon hearing our important agenda, Skorupi will open the doors to the Granite Zone. So, we just skip all these Pokemon and are here in this front room and just run up the slope to talk to Charizard up here. He'll tell us that only those are worthy can reach the Sky Pavilion, and then asks about that shaking. The next attraction, though, is right here with Absol. This is Absol's Hurdle Bounce, and we need to pay 40 berries to get it. So we're gonna have 5 berries left over, and now berries don't matter after this point. So we're gonna use Ponytoss. Ponytoss is the fastest option. Just like Daring Dash and Speed Slam, however, we actually jump over these hurdles. So I actually don't need to beat this within the bonus time, since I don't need any more berries, so it's a little bit slower to get the bonus here. However, the strat to not get the bonus but still beat the goal time is a little bit difficult. So I opt not to do that in most marathon setting runs, as you can potentially lose. So now we can move to the other side of the room, Hop-Up. Hop-Up wouldn't let us progress until we beat the attraction, and not that we have, they'll let us through. And then they'll also wish to be our friend. They just like us. Thanks, Hop-Up. In order to cross the bridge, we need to hit the switch here to turn it the correct direction. And then we cross it, and then hit the switch on the other side to turn it back to the original position. So run up the slope and turn right, and we will meet up with Flygon, who will tell us right here about the Promised Gate. And in order to progress, we need to know the 3 secret words. So we're going to run around the outside of the building and search for these 3 secret words. However, our path is blocked by a Blastoise, who will challenge us to a battle. Now that our dash is upgraded to the max, it'll actually do 1.5 bars of damage base, so there's pretty much no reason to ever use the pull again. So, since the bridge is in the correct position, we can cross it and move up these slopes. Scroopy will have a text box here, but we're just going to skip him for now, since what we're doing right now is what Scroopy wants us to do anyways, which is cross this platforming puzzle in order to hit the switch on the other side. So you notice that there is, on the other side, that's past the gate. So there's a theoretical skip called password skip, where we skip getting these 3 passwords or secret words and unlocking the gate. It's a frame-perfect, pixel-perfect jump that's said to have been done once without video. In theory, if this was found, this would save 5 minutes. However, it would lose 2 to 3 because we need to go find other Pokemon to friend that we lose from skipping. So, the normal route that we use, we hit the switch, which will turn off the fire spout and unlock the door. Here we find Porygon Z, who will challenge us to a quiz. And upon beating Porygon Z, he'll become our friend and give us the secret word of love. That is the last quiz in the game. We do not need to do any more. So we see Bronzer up there, but we're actually going to take a detour left and talk to Scroopy now. Scroopy will be impressed that we opened the secret door and did the platform puzzle and become our friend. And now we can talk to Bronzor. Bronzor will prevent us from moving on until we have 1 secret word, which we now know, so they'll let us pass. However, an Electivire will prevent us from moving on, challenging us for the title of Lightning Strike. So, Electivire is a pure electric type with 1 of 2 abilities, but neither ability will let us use Thunderbolt on Electivire, so we're just going to have to use Quick Attack. Not that we would have wanted to use Thunderbolt anyways. And then also Marowak is here. So run up the pyramid here, and then jump into the switch with our momentum, which will turn off the fire spouts. Here we check the rope cart, which is very scary. It's just planks nailed in together over a gorge. However, we cross safely and get to talk to Togekiss here. If we beat Togekiss's obstacle hop, she'll give us a secret word. So this is the second obstacle hop of 3 in the game. Also the middle tier difficulty. Not too bad though. So the secret word is peace, and then they'll tell us that the last word is with Snorlax in the cavern zone. So that's part of the reason why we also got the Drifloon stop there. Not just for the friending strat. So ride the road card back, and now we need to make our way to the Drifloon stop in this zone. So fall down to the ground, and then run through the secret passageway that we unlocked, and up the ramp. So, before we can talk to Snorlax, Mawa will be in the way, and she'll finally say thank you and become our friend. Not that that's super important right now. Go ahead and talk to Snorlax, who will give us the last secret word. Which is rainbow. So now that we know all three secret words, love, peace, and rainbow, we can go on to Flygon. So this, well, along with that, the promised gate will now open. So we need to talk to Salamence over here, who has the next attraction. This is Salamence's Air Ace. Which we will play with Togekiss, as that's our only option. So the bonus is 10,000, the goal is 12, so no matter what, we're going to get the bonus if we get the goal for the prison piece. So you can run through these targets, but you can also use the 2 button to use a move. Togekiss uses either Gust or Air Cutter here. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. The moves Pokemon use in fights and in these attractions are actually out of the mainstay games. Like Chimchar will use Ember in his battle. So just like that, we've already gone past 1,000. Might as well try a little bit for extra credit. Not that it needs too much. 16,000, not too bad. So now that we've cleared Salamence's attraction, which by the way is the last checkpoint in the game, you're required to have 80 friends by this point. You can move on towards the opposite end where Jump Bluff is, and Jump Bluff will allow you to go past the Granite Zone. So, welcome to the last zone of the game. This is the Flower Zone. On running up here, Blossom will be talking to us. They'll say that they found something pretty cool in the beach zone, but we're here to see Mew, so we need to go talk to Shaman. So we're going to run over here and talk to Shaman, who will tell us that we need the Precious Mirror in order to go to the Sky Pavilion. So normally you talk to Mareep up there, and they'll tell you that to go back to the meeting zone, or the meeting place, excuse me. However, I'm just gonna skip that talk and go straight back to the meeting place. This is the last time we use Dripline here in the run. So we just gotta mash for the meeting place. So the balloon is inflated, it's ready to fly. Charmander's done with his fireworks. We tell them about the flower zone. Charmander tells us that he sees something shiny at the top of the treehouse. So we need to run up this treehouse. This is probably one of the worst coded places ever. Very poorly made. Luckily, once we get up to the top and find the mirror, it'll automatically teleport us to the bottom of the flower zone, so we don't have to walk all the way back down the treehouse to the Drifloom stop. So hug the corners to cut out as much walking as possible. And we need to carry this all the way up to the dais at the top. So once we place the mirror on the dais, it'll swivel around and gather magical energy in the air to shoot a beam of light out into space to summon Rayquaza, the zone leader of the Flower and Granite Zones. I don't know how that works. Probably off the same magic that Bidoof can build a bridge out of those little pile of sticks called lumber. But here we are now, with Rayquaza in front of us. And this is the last attraction in the game, Rayquaza's Balloon Panic. We're going to be playing this with Absol, as Absol is the most consistent. So we need 30,000 points. So the first section here is a little bit of like a 2.5D platformer, where you just move left to right to get the colored rings for points. You can also jump up as well. If you hit a Voltorb, you'll lose 100 points. If you hit an Electrode, you'll lose 300. And you'll lose a little bit of time since you're stopped in the getting hit animation. So the reason why we pick Absol is Absol jumps the highest out of any Pokemon that we have available. And can actually clear an Electrode if you time it perfectly, so that's why we just use Absol. You could use Pikachu if you wanted to go fast, but you have to make double sure that you don't get hit. So the second part is a shooting minigame. And with this, I can easily get over 30,000 points. If you hit the target dead center, you'll get double the points that you normally would. See, perfect. So now that we've gathered all 14 pieces, we can finally go to the Sky Pavilion after talking to Shaman. So, running over to Shaman now. She'll tell us that the Cresselia flower here needs to be in bloom. So we need to find Blossom now, who happens to be right over here. She'll give us the wonderful watering can that she found from the beach zone. And with this, once we check the Cresselia flower, we will water it, and that'll somehow make it bloom. I don't know why, but again, don't question the logic. Since we can't fly, we don't know how we're going to get there, but Shaman notices that something's coming over the cliff, so they're going to change their form into the sky form. And we see our best friends in the hot air balloon, Piplup, Charmander, and Chikorita. I also don't know how Charmander is allowed in that wooden woven basket with his tail on fire. And Pikachu knocks him down, potentially setting the entire basket on fire, but that does not happen. And from here, we can move on to the Sky Pavilion, the last area of the game. So Shaman is telling us that Mew can be disguised, so we need to be careful when fighting Mew. So this is like the unofficial hide and seek of the game with Mew. So we need to run up this ramp and jump across these little gaps in order to talk to Piplup up here, who tells us that they haven't seen Mew at all. So we're just going to call it quits from here and go on home to the meeting place. When we somehow get stopped by Piplup once more, who beat us down here, and tells us that they've been down here the entire time. So we need to go back and check on who the first Piplup was. So once more up the ramp to talk to quote-unquote Piplup, which turns out to be Mew. So playing with Mew officially will complete the process of restoring the PokéPark to its natural state. So the first of 3 skill games that we play with Mew is Obstacle Hop. This is the last and hardest obstacle hop of the 80% game. So, with that out of the way, we are now up to the battle section of the 3 minigames. The first of which is against a Magmortar. The strat for all these battles is just to mash quick attack, since it's the best move. And then just sidestep out of the way as needed. So the next Pokemon Mew picks is Garchomp. Garchomp is Dragon Ground, so you couldn't use Thunderbolt even if you wanted to. Not that we want to. Otherwise, Garchomp or Mew just use Giga Impact. So you can just kind of run away from that and just run back into it. There I went a little too fast and got hit, but that's alright. And lastly, Mew will use his favorite, Tyranitar. So simple as that. The last skill game Mew will challenge us to is Chase. And I'm going to be quiet because it is one of the best soundtracks that you only get to hear for approximately 10 seconds. That is it. Defeated Mew. Time ends on the first full black frame after the 4 text boxes when re-talking to Mew after this little cutscene right here. So, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. So there you have it. That is PokéPark Wii Pikachu's Adventure in 8% in 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 38 seconds. This is a great showcase run of how the 80% run is to be played. The only major mistake was failing the bumper burn attraction, but other than that, this was done very well. This could have potentially been a 220 had that attraction cooperated, but other than that, this is a very good showcase of what the 80% run is to be like. The current world record is held by me at a 2:20:35, which is a pretty solid time. It is still beatable though. This is a very enjoyable run for me. I love playing PokéPark Wii. It's a very niche game. Not a lot of people know about it, especially for a Pokemon game. And surprisingly enough, it even has a sequel, which is crazy. I'm going to let the credits play out just to show what they're like, and then I will show off the in-game time, which is how the Pokemon games used to be timed in. The current timing method is RTA, which stands for real-time attack. But we used to go by the IGT, or in-game time. As previously mentioned, Charmander has his fireworks. So here, we are going to save our game. then reset so we can go back to the title screen. So the in-game time is 2 hours and 24 minutes, which is a pretty good in-game time. The current in-game time, best known in-game time is 2:23 by me, which came from my 2:20:35 world record. But other than that, that is the end of PokéPark Wii Pikachu's Adventure Any Percent. I thank you for watching. I'm glad that I got to show this as a showcase. This is a very good run, and I hope everyone enjoys.